Lori's friend for 38 years.
All right, well, it is my pleasure to introduce Lori Goff of Jilly Socks and Such. And if you have not been to her store yet, you need to go. I was going to wear my favorite pair of socks from your store, but SEC wouldn't want me to wear dogs and wine glasses. So take it away, Jill.
That's okay. That's all right. I get called Jilly every day. It's okay. My name is Lori, but our store is Jilly's. This is Whitney, and she is my right-hand woman at the store with social media and all the other things I don't know how to do. So I always know I need a young person by my side. And the gentleman in the back, that is my husband, and we celebrated our 37th anniversary last night. I just wouldn't have my little store without him because I was a teacher my whole life and didn't really know a lot about business. When you're a teacher, you don't have to know about business. You have to know about teenagers and communication, and your paycheck shows up, every month, and you just don't have to know business. So he's helped me a ton with my business, and he's kind of my financial helper too. So, and he's always here to support me. So thanks for coming. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. I taught at Lincoln Public Schools since 1982 and loved being a high school teacher for 32 years. I taught what used to be home ec, and so I taught a lot of culinary classes, and my favorite was interior design and architecture class. That was my favorite. And I never really taught the sewing. I love to sew, but to teach that is a whole nother thing. And I don't know, I've just taught a million different classes over 30-some years. And I retired almost 6 years ago, begged John to let me get out of there while I was still sane. And the kids still liked me. And then I had this dream of opening a sock store. And how that dream came about, I actually really thought I was going to be a realtor when I retired. I love homes, I love interiors, I love people. Just thought I was going to be a realtor. And the last year of my teaching career, the last couple years, the kids started wearing all these funny and naughty socks. And I would once in a while wear them back. And I did wear the naughty socks and hoped that the administrators wouldn't see them on me. And then I was traveling quite a bit, as much as I could with John for his job, and every time we went to a big community, a big city, we'd hit a sock store, and they were so fun, and we would just see people walking out with sacks and sacks of socks. And so we were in San Francisco, and we were with our friends, and it wasn't the first conversation we'd had, but it was the conversation that solidified that we were really going to come home to Lincoln and open a sock store. And our friends Todd and Suzanne, they own their own business too, and so they were helpful in helping me figure out if this is what I was going to do. So I went into business with one of my former students named Jilly, and again, I just knew I needed a young person to help me do this. Oh. No. Thanks, Whitney. Jilly is like a daughter to me, and John, and she was with us for 2 years and decided to leave, and it's all turned out great. She wanted to get married and have a family, and I think she was a little bit bored with our little sock store at the beginning, and she was young and she just had dreams, and so she's not with us anymore. And I'll just never forget her in the back room telling me she was quitting, and she said, "Are you going to change the name if I quit? And are you going to lock the doors if I quit?" And I said, "No, not at all." So she's still in our life. I'm happy for her. She's happily married, and I just found out she's expecting her second baby. So Jilly's is Jilly's, but there really is a Jilly. And now we have Whitney, and we have Anna, and we have Ann, and we have Michelle. And we're all Southeast grads or retirement teachers. So we're kind of a little Southeast community, Southeast high school community. What else? Where am I going from there? So in what?
Talk about growth and where you started.
Yeah, okay. So we went around Lincoln a lot trying to find the perfect location. I knew I wanted to be really small. I am located at 40th and Old Cheney in a double strip mall. I'm right by Yogurtini and the Cleaners and UPS and Ace Hardware, Lancaster's Bar. Can you picture that area now? Okay, that's where I'm at. And our store is only 800 to 900 square feet. It's very small, but it does give the feeling of this little old-fashioned boutique that you don't really see anymore. They just, I don't know, we get taken over by the big stores. And we just celebrated our 5th anniversary, and I'm really proud of my store. I go in there almost every day unless I'm out of town, and I love it. I absolutely love it. John used to tell me when I was a teacher, he'd come sit in my classroom once in a while or speak in my classroom, and he'd say, "You just light up like a light bulb in front of all those kids." And I kind of think I do that now, but it's just all the socks on the wall. I just walk in there and I'm just proud of the little store, and I don't have kids hollering at me, and I don't have that tight of a schedule. So it's been a great transition, but I've loved both of my careers. I really was just going to do socks, and my husband can be very persuasive, yes, that would be the better word than what I was going to use. And he just said, if you're going to do this, you need to do gifts. And I said, I don't want to be a gift store. I want to be a little sock boutique. But dang it, he was right. And we have a lot more gifts in the store than we ever used to have. And those are much bigger ticket numbers than just a pair of $9 socks. So it's really helped our sales a lot. If I sell a $50 purse, which we did yesterday, so we do this little dance at Jilly's if we have customers that come in and buy only gifts and no socks. They just kind of fit in a whole different other category, because we're like, really, we're a sock store, you're not buying any socks? But it's just I don't know, we have lots of gifts. We have a little men's section. What else do we have, Whitney? Purses.
A little bit of everything. I feel like we've got a lot of skincare items, bath bombs. We've got 2 different, there's a lavender brand, Susie's Lavender, and then there's the Naked Bee. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's one of the new ones in that. They're all very cool, very fun.
We have candles also, and something Whitney reminded me of, we carry 7 or 8 local vendors in my little store, and I had no idea when I opened my doors that we would do that, but it just kind of came to be. I have people come knock on your door and say, would you be interested in my product? And first time I looked at them and thought, I don't know. But now it's just really fun. We have a 89-year-old lady who makes these darling gnomes, and gnomes are very popular right now. We've sold 21 of them in the last couple months. She makes little ones or this size. So, and then I just call her up. I buy her things wholesale, and then we just sell them at the store. So yeah, I think we have 7 or 8 local businesses in just my little store, and it's kind of fun. That helps them out, I help them out, and they help me out by having more product. So we have a men's section, we have a women's section, and we have a kids section, and we are running out of room, and right now we are as a team trying to decide if we're going to move 30 feet down the sidewalk to a bigger bay, and it scares me to death, and I'm trying to bring my husband along, and I think I got him on board. Whitney, yes. Yes. Yeah, the other day we went and looked at the space, and really it's only 30 feet from my door. It's 2 doors down. And so we were looking at the space, and I had to get back into the store in case there was a customer. So I said, Whitney, go down there and spend some time with John. So they were chatting for an hour, and I was in the store like, but when a wife can't convince, a coworker can. So Whitney is in school for, you tell them about yourself, hon.
Sure. Okay. I'm a junior at UNL, and I'm studying marketing and entrepreneurship. I'm in the Engler program for entrepreneurship on East Campus. And I'm kind of working on looking at what my future looks like, kind of doing what I'm doing at Jilly's and continuing to do that, and also starting my own business doing that. But I've worked at Jilly's for 3 years.
Has it been 3?
Yeah, 3 in a month. So very excited to
Cool.
that's been that long, and it doesn't feel like that long because it's just been so much fun, and gotten a lot of experience, done a lot of like really crazy fun things with our social media. During COVID, that kind of took a interesting turn with our social media and just website and all of that, and really like switched how we thought about the business. So very fun. Yeah, I'm a photographer. I'm almost 21. I'll be 21 in also a month, so that's exciting. And I don't know what else to say.
She's awesome. She just knows so many things, and she's so creative. She's totally left brain. You know, I'm going to tease her, but sometimes I have to remind her what day she's working or whatever, but she's so left brain, but her creativity is like over the top, and I just love that. So we coordinate. Whitney works every Monday and Tuesday with me, and we just coordinate, and I give her ideas about posts, but most of the time she'll come up with whatever we're going to share on our social media, and she's amazing. So I could not do it without her, because this day and age of business just needs to be social media huge, and I know nothing about it. You know, every day I have to ask her, how do you do this and how do you do that? But years ago, John asked me if I would write a job description for everybody that worked at Jilly's. I'm like, no, I don't know what our job descriptions are. We just open the doors and we sell socks. I don't know that. Well, 5 years later, I could write a job description for all of us. We've all kind of found our little niche, and it's great. One of the gals who works for us, one of the retired teacher friends of mine, she's not just, but she is a fill-in person because I go out of town a lot, and Ann is retired and goes out of town, and Whitney goes skiing often, or as often as you can, and she's going to Hawaii this summer, so we need a person to fill in when one or two of us is gone, and so Michelle is that person in our store, so, and she likes it that way. She doesn't want a ton of hours, so. What else?
Talk about your COVID year.
Oh, yes, so many businesses had to close their doors during COVID, and I'm so sad for them, and it makes me feel bad, but it was our best year, and it was because of masks. And it was just God being there guiding us, because a 90-year-old woman that is not a client of my husband's, but she's a client of someone who he works next door to. I don't know, it just came up that you should go see John's wife Lori at Jilly. She would probably sell your masks. So Loretta produced, I don't know how many thousands of masks we sold nonstop that year. What were the numbers, John?
$40,000 in mask sales.
$40,000 in masks.
So Loretta made $20,000.
Yeah. And it was amazing, but she just had the coolest fabric, and she used this really neat, I don't even want to call it elastic, but this really neat fabric that went behind your ears that didn't hurt behind your ears like the strings and the tight elastic does. So the word got out in the city that there's some really cool homemade masks at Jilly Socks, and she'd have every fabric you'd want, and when the holidays rolled around, we'd have, the masks to match the holidays. Well, needless to say, we aren't selling masks anymore, but it was fabulous while it lasted, just fabulous. I made out like a bandit during COVID, and I do feel bad for the businesses that didn't have the luck that I had. But it was great, and it was fun to do business with Loretta. She was thrilled about it. you know, if you're 89, you just don't think that your sewing is going to take off and sell like gangbusters in someone's boutique. So it was fun for all of us.
Can I?
Yes, of course.
So, and also during COVID, we did a lot of our sales more through like in-store pickup through our website, and that was something that Shopify, the system that we use to keep inventory and also run our website, they didn't have a way to do in-store pickup for businesses prior to COVID and through their website. So we kind of came up with a way to make it an option, but it was a separate location that you could pick, and then people could come and pick them up from our store or do curbside pickup. And so that was kind of a interesting thing we figured out. And then a couple months later, of course, they were like, "Oh, that's a good idea. We should do that on our own."
Yeah,
so
right.
Then we didn't need to do that.
Whitney's not, yeah, she figured that out. And it was really fun, because then people would call and they'd say, is my sock order ready? And they'd tell us what car they were in, and we would just take their little sack and take it to their car door. And it was really fun. It really was, other than they don't come into the store, but at least we were making a sale. And we always put a coupon in there for their next visit back. So.
Talk about web sales and transition, what we expected and what's happened. And you and Whit can both talk about that one.
John is never satisfied with our online sales. He's the one who pushes, and I love him to death. Yeah, and it's good. I need somebody to be that for me, because when we went to the bank and took out a small business loan 6 years ago or 5 years ago, all I focused on was my little brick and mortar store, and I could picture what it was going to look like, and I was so excited about that. And that is who I am. My mom and dad used to own an antique store, and I'm just a small store person. I love that. I didn't really care about online sales, but the banker said you need to do blah 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 in online sales. I'm like, okay. And you think that that's the way the world is right now. Everybody orders online. He's addicted to it. But there's some of us who don't like that. I don't ever order clothes online. That's not me. I like to feel it. I like to try it on. I don't want to have to bother returning it through the mail. So then Whit and John worked hard together for trying to get our online program going, and it's hit or miss. And I'm going to let you take over from there.
During, like, when I started, I'll start there, I was hired to do a couple social media posts.
Can I tell them how you were hired?
Sure, yeah.
I have so many resources, and I think that's another thing that's just luck on my part, because I was a teacher. I know so many people, and I have a great rapport with Southeast High School. So I called up the business teacher and said, tell your top 3 media students, or whatever class you were in, to call me, because I need somebody. And Jody Gear, who is in the business department there, sent me Whitney and 2 other girls' names, and Whitney was the first one to come, and she really impressed me, and so I hired her.
Yeah, I probably was a little bit pushy about it, because I knew that there was 2 other people that were put up for the position, so I called Lori the day that Jody told me that she recommended me, and put together a presentation and showed up at Jilly's with the presentation.
And that was so impressive. The next day, and a presentation. And then, I don't know if you know this, but then like 3 days later, one of the other students called, and I said, I'm really sorry, I've already filled the position. And she said, well, I just found out about it 2 days ago. And I said, exactly. You snooze, you lose. I didn't tell her that, but yeah.
So anyways, I was just hired to generate a couple posts because we wanted to boost social media, and then it kind of turned into, just with the way things worked out, me taking over the website and learning kind of that. So there was a whole learning curve that I had just graduated high school. So that summer I spent, I nannied, and I spent their nap times watching videos on how to do website stuff, and John was like, just watch all these videos, there's all these things that you can learn from, and I'm sitting there taking notes, and they're like, this is so boring. Stuff. So that's what I did that summer, and then through COVID, we ended up in the top 30% as far as web sales go for all of Shopify, which is the top platform for all e-commerce in America, I believe. So that was really good for us and kind of a fun thing. But now I'm working on trying to figure out what the next step is for generating more growth online, because we are not in a world where everybody wants to be online all the time because we're...
Explain the challenge with Facebook.
Yeah, so Facebook, we got hacked, which is, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that because it happens, seems like too often with Facebook, but we got hacked and that kind of got us off of their catalog because they thought we were a fraudulent account, so we couldn't sell our products from Facebook, which was our main channel for getting people to the website. We got it back, and then Shopify decided to update the app that connects Facebook with Shopify. So then we got taken off, and now we can't get it reconnected, which has made our sales plummet down for now, and we're working on getting it back. And I'm confident when it does come back, we will be good to go. So we're working on doing that right now. But yeah, it's been a learning curve for sure, trying to figure out how people come to our website and what the best way to focus on promotion is from that standpoint.
Yesterday we had 2 online sales, and it's exciting even after 5 years. If you walk into work in the morning and there's 2 online sales sitting there waiting to be filled. One was from California, and I can't remember where the other one was. But it's kind of fun. It's like, oh, California, the word's getting out, you know? So we've had a couple international online sales. So if you just Google silly socks or crazy socks or novelty socks, usually we come up, and that's very helpful, and that's part of Whitney just working so hard to get that to happen. But it is not easy to sell online, even though that seems to be what our world does. It is so hard to make that happen when you own the business. You just think that's what all customers do, but it isn't, and it's just really hard to get that going. And just with reasons like Whitney was sharing, it's just stuff that you can't even imagine. And somebody told me once, it was probably Whitney, like with Google, you might be able to get to the top of their listing, but you don't just stay there. You can do all this stuff, you know. You guys probably all know that. I didn't know that.
It's like Google AdWords, so tagging your website with anything that somebody could possibly search. So cow socks to, I don't know, like bath bombs in Lincoln, Nebraska, and businesses that pay for a top spot like Target or Amazon or any of those bigger ones that can invest more money into that, show up at the top, and then after that it's the people that are searched for most or have the most tags in relation to other things that you search for. So I think for silly socks, we've come up first for more than just Lincoln, Nebraska, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And I've worked really hard at trying to figure out what people are searching for and figuring out the Google algorithm and stuff like that, which is always changing. Same with Instagram. So definitely I'm always learning curve. So. Yeah.
And even if I knew all that Whitney knows, there's just not time for a single business owner to do all of it. There's just not. I do all the ordering. I pay all the bills. I kind of decorate the shop. I'm up there probably every day that I'm not scheduled to work anyway. But it's just different when it's your baby. You just don't feel like you're going to work. You're going to your favorite little place outside of my home, you know. So I wasn't scheduled yesterday, and I ended up being up there like 3.5 hours. But I don't ever resent it. It's very fun to do. Last year, the Lincoln Journal Star's Lincoln's Choice Awards. We got second place in the boutique category, and this year it'll be announced next week, but we got second place again this year for boutique, and we will probably never beat the #1 boutique, and it's Ash and Ash, and they're a young women's clothing store. And Whitney had another fabulous idea. She went right up to the people at the banquet last week from Lincoln Journal-Star and said, could we add a new category? Could we add a gift category? Because they don't have a gift category. And I'm looking at Whitney like, that is awesome. Because we will never beat, I don't think we'll ever beat, because we don't sell clothing really. I mean, we do have t-shirts and sweatshirts, but very few compared to a clothing boutique, you know. So again, Whitney was there with a great suggestion about, can we add a gift category next year for a gift store? So that's what if they add it, we'll join that. So
We're gonna add it.
yeah, Whitney will make them add it. But it was really fun. We went to the banquet at Embassy Suites, and we didn't know what to expect, and we got second. So it was really fun.
What was the hardest part transitioning from being a teacher to owning your store?
The hardest part, my husband was there all the time, and at school he wasn't there all the time, and I just had my own gig going, and I thought the sock store was my gig, and he was there all the time, and I said, don't you have your own job to go to? But it was all out of love, all out of trying to help me, and he did help me a ton, but and I'm kind of just poking fun at him, but we have had some tough discussions about my little business. I don't really tell him how to run his, and so we've had some tough discussions about Jilly's, and I do joke about it is just my hobby. I do not pay myself. I pay for my car through my business. I just did that because I make a nice pension from Lincoln Public Schools, and I wanted the store to make it a couple years, and I need to pay my employees that I couldn't have my store without my girls beside me, and I have a really close family member who ran her business just the opposite, and I just knew I didn't want to do that. The money that comes into Jilly's goes right back into Jilly's so that we can buy more socks, more what's the word I'm looking at? More merchandise. And sometimes I have this little, I'm a very old-fashioned. I'm a paper pencil person. I have this little red folder that has all my bills in it, and I open it every week and I just close it because it's depressing, because there's all these bills in there. We're having so much fun at the store, and we're selling, and we're having fun with being a women's business, and I open that folder and I just get depressed. And John is my cheerleader about that because he is a finance guy, and he said, you're always going to have bills, honey. You're always going to have bills, and there's always going to be times where you have a lot of money in the bank, and there's going to be times where you need to spin into your line of credit. And I just emotionally, that tears me up. I paid off my business loan. I've never paid John back. Well, I kind of did, didn't I?
About half.
About half, yeah. So to go backwards, to borrow money again, that makes me very nervous. But sometimes in the year, you're forced to. But the last couple years, we have not done that. So Christmas is huge for us, just huge. We have a lot of fun. If you have not been in Jilly's, it is so small. And we have it packed to the brim. And if a wheelchair comes in, we have to actually move some furniture a little bit. Before my mom passed away 3 years ago, she was in my store a couple times, but the last time she was in my store, she was in her wheelchair. And I just remember thinking, I need to make some space for this. This is important. So.
Can I throw in something?
Of course.
That maybe shares your transition from education. Our wonderful middle son 5 years ago asked me to do the Camino de Santiago, which is a hike across northern Spain. And it sounds like I have greater input to this business than I do. I really don't. Between Whitney and Lori, I don't have any say at all. I just give guidance occasionally when I need it. But originally I had to sign on everything because we're a family business. And Lori was a teacher, and she had no business background. So I need to compliment Frontier Bank because they have been with us. They've been with us for 15 years, but Pat Detmer, who's Vice President of Commercial Lending here, set up the loan for Lori. Our original loan was, to be candid, $50,000. And I had told Pat that was my limit. Well, we opened the store in February, and Nate and I are on the Camino, hiking 17 miles a day. And I get a call from Lori, and she's in tears. She literally is sobbing.
Frustrating.
Tears.
Frustration, yeah.
And she said, I just called the bank to add more money to our line of credit, and I was turned down. And I said, well, what's the balance of your line of credit? And she said, well, I don't know. And so I said, well, let me call Pat. So here I am in the middle of northern Spain calling Frontier Bank. And I said, Pat, what's going on? He said, Lori called and asked for an extension. You told me $50,000 and we're there. And I'm not going to loan any more money. And he said, then I asked her what her inventory balance was. And Lori said, well, I have no idea what my inventory balance is.
Wrong answer.
It is today. What is it today?
40,000?
32,000.
I was gonna say, I know that.
Anyway, I said, Pat, can we extend it? You and Lori and I can sit down when I get back in 3 weeks and go through this. So he extended $5,000 the line of credit so Lori could pay her bills. And then we sat down. Well, I'm transitioning. This story is not long. We were in the new space yesterday. And I'm sorry, I cried. I cried movies.
Possible new space.
We were in the new space yesterday with the banker, and I said, Pat, you need me to sign? And he said, no, Lori's got this.
Oh.
I was just very intimidated with the banker. That just isn't my thing, and that's his thing. And so I wasn't comfortable. John and Pat have a good relationship. I just kind of thought, you guys just work on the money stuff, and I'll just be in my little shop doing my little thing. And but yeah, after 5 years, I've learned a lot, and I can hold my own with our banker. And I'm negotiating without John knowing. I was negotiating with our landlord about this bigger space because I knew he wasn't on board with it. And I thought, well, I can do the negotiating, and if it comes through and John says no, then I'll have to be okay with that, because we said we would make the decision together. And he said, what do you mean you're negotiating with the landlord? And I go, well, I'm just checking it out. I'm just seeing what he has to offer. And so, and I wouldn't have done that 5 years ago. I just didn't have the confidence, courage, yes, yeah. So somebody asked me once what I miss, and I sarcastically said I miss the students a lot. I miss the students a ton, but the socks are very quiet and very obedient. So, any questions, anybody? Whitney? Brooke?
I thought it would be fun to show a TikTok about our branding TikTok.
You go right ahead.
Make sure that it's loaded.
Sometimes I don't even know how to look up my own social media that she is doing. I'm like, Whitney, would you show me where I can find that, please?
Okay, so this is a branding one I did about a year ago, and it's kind of just talking about about our socks and why we like to sell them. So, maybe I should turn it up so you can hear it. There we go. So that's the front of our store, and then this is Jilly's Socks and Such, a Nebraska-owned sock and gift store. Here at Jilly's, we like to say, let your socks do the talking, because those fun socks you pick out say a lot about you. And with over 5,000 pairs of socks at our store, there's something for everyone. We have a Facebook, an Instagram, and an online store where we use your help to grow our following. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and follow to help a small business out. And remember, let your socks do the talking. Nice.
Yeah, she's great in front and behind the camera. Sometimes I get this idea like, okay, I kind of want to be in that. I kind of want to be in that. And then Whitney will do something. I'm like, nope, I don't need to. I don't need to be in them. So.
From a resource standpoint, did you have any problems during COVID getting socks? And where did most of your materials and socks come from? Are they...
During COVID, we didn't have any problem. It was kind of at the end of COVID that everything started happening, that we couldn't get our supplies as quickly as we could. It didn't really ever hurt us. It was just very frustrating. I order from enough different companies that if, like, some companies couldn't get our socks to us for like 3 weeks or a month, and then there's a couple companies that our socks are on my doorstep the day after we order them. But that's because 2 of those companies are in Kansas City, and the other one is somewhere really close, so they get here really fast. I have learned, though, so true, like the big companies I order from, those are the ones who don't really have their act together. I'll be like, where's my back order that was supposed to come 3 weeks ago? So then my rep will call the company and she'll say, well, they don't have a back order for Jilly socks. And I said, well, I have 23 styles that didn't come. And so Nicole is working on that for me right now. And they're a great big company. And so the bigger, sometimes the harder it is to work with them.
Your resources domestic or some of them foreign?
Almost all are domestic. Now, they might be manufactured overseas, but they're all right here in the United States. They're yes, yeah.
Just 30 seconds on what you've done to add to the community. City mission, friendship home, so on.
That was another thing that was really hard for me. I wanted to make my business work, and how do you make your business work when you're giving away things to everybody who contacts you? And I used to get grumpy about it. I'm like, I can't do this. We're a little tiny store. I can barely pay my bills. How can we give and give and give? And finally, I just tried to quit being so stubborn, and John convinced me it's all about networking, and I knew that as a teacher, but when it involves giving away your product, so we have given to tons of places, some schools very small, just like a silent auction bag of $60 to $100 worth of socks in it for silent auction. But we've done a couple really great giveaways to the City Mission and Friendship Home. They're kind of a place close to my heart. I always worked with Friendship Home with some of my young teenage students. And I give to almost all the schools that ask, especially the schools who have, lower income students. We give socks to them. And now after 5 years, I have a lot of people reaching out, and most of the time I say yes, but once in a while I just say, I gave to you the last 4 years. I'm gonna give to somebody else this year. And Whitney's gonna do that was another neat thing that she's going to do a post on all the places that we have touched or given something to in the last 5 years.
We had a notepad probably this big, and we went through 2 pages, 2 columns of businesses that we've given to or businesses we've teamed up with, and that was just cool to see how much can happen in 5 years in a small business, and especially one that's just active in the community.
Mm-hmm. The schools really reach out, and that again is close to my heart, so I enjoy doing that. We do a lot of craft fairs, if you will. Some of those that was just another way to make a few more sales. Sometimes it's not worth the effort of packing up the socks and being there all day, and then I have to pay double payroll on those days. Sometimes it's not worth it at all, but you don't know till you try. And sometimes they charge you $500 to be a part of that fair. And but Monday, FCCLA State Convention was at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and FCCLA, I can't really tell you what that acronym is. I should, because it's my area of teaching. It's Future Leaders of Community something association. It all has to do with family and consumer science. So they invited us for the last 3 years to sell socks, and in the past they charged us a little bit of money for our booth, but because they know me, they as a former family consumer science teacher, they didn't charge us this year, which was so nice. And we sold $1,300 worth of socks. And Anna was there with our other little iPad, and she's calling Whitney at 8:30 in the morning. Whitney, I can't get in on the, just like today, you know, the technology wasn't working, and Whitney was like sharing with her it's the wrong password or whatever, and I just stand in the back. I'm like, they'll figure it out. I know they will. And I'm at the store selling socks, and our system, our sales system dings every time you make a sale, and so I'm working in the store with no customers, and it's just ding, 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 ding. I'm like, go Anna. So that is the fun part. And she felt really good about it too, you know. Trying to think what else.
What percentage of your business is retail versus online? And I know you had the Facebook page. In the past, what's the difference?
John knows this number. It's not where we'd like it to be right now, for sure.
Original project, we were hoping 60/40, and we are about 90/10.
90/10, yeah.
90/10 retail?
Yeah.
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 She's done through that little 800 square foot space, $500,000 in sales in the last 5 years.
UPS is huge to us because they're right next door. Our doors touch, kind of. And UPS is packed with people every minute of every day of the year. And a lot of times I'll stand there and go, oh my God, why don't they come in here? Look at all those people. But a lot of them do come in. I get so much foot traffic from UPS. And that's one of the tough considerations if we're going to move only 30 feet down the sidewalk. It is still a tough consideration to, I mean, it's an important consideration. We chose where we were at because John and I live really close to there. I didn't want to be anywhere far away. It's just been very convenient. It has been the best. We picked good. I just know we picked good. There's so many cute boutiques up in College View, and they're mostly women-owned businesses up there, mostly. And I just found out the other day with networking with a woman who owns Rachel's Boutique up there, and then Becca Boutique is up there. They told me that they get together and they were discussing how to get Jilly socks to come up to College View. And that was a huge compliment, but I won't go. There's no parking compared to what we have. And I just know myself. I might want to go somewhere, but if there's no parking close, if I don't need to go, I'm not going to stop. So we picked well when we picked our little location. And I'm grateful that I would never even consider moving locations. It just so happens that this bigger space is available. It's been sitting empty for 4 years. And this really nice man that I know that works for the Lerner company, he showed me the space one day, and oh man, I just got the bug. And so we've been working on it for several months, thinking about it and dreaming a little bit. So.
What's your favorite pair of socks you've ever ordered?
Oh, well, I brought them. These are from my own drawer. I have so many, but these are 3 of my favorite. And one of them is Naughty. We sell the most Naughty socks. It's a company called Blue Q. And everybody that knows of these socks comes in and goes directly to that spinner rack. Now, when are you getting to get new ones in? I have all these already. And so before I ever opened my store, this is so ironic, but it is so the truth, was when John and I were traveling, and it was my last year of teaching, and we were going to sock stores all the time. And I have 2 sisters, and they knew I was buying all these socks. So one year for Christmas, I got this pair from one of my sisters, and I honestly don't remember if it was Kim or Kelly, but I'll just pass them around.
Yeah, so it's not.
So it's not on the video.
We don't need that on YouTube. I'll show my favorite one. Yeah, what's your favorite one? They're these foxes on socks. Oh, and I just think they're so cute. They're all wearing socks.
Fox in socks, yep.
That is cute. And yeah, there's lots that
There's so many.
I think there's a pair that says, "Can I get a vodka, Xanax, something, coffee.
To go, please. Yes, yes.
Super funny.
These were really popular. You guys probably saw these on Facebook. Everyone was selling them. If you can read this, it says, if you can read this, bring me a glass of wine.
Yes,
And I bet 2 Christmases ago, we sold 50, 60 pairs of these alone. But now, we can't give them away. They're like, been there, done that. Nobody wants these.
You tried marketing through the wineries?
I haven't tried very hard.
It's like James Arthur.
Yeah.
And a couple others have, especially James Arthur has a major gift there.
Yeah. And that's just something I need to do, but I know that that's hard with time.
Well, what about the Nebraska local downtown? They have a lot of local wines down there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're right.
Yeah, the Nebraska shop.
Hours to get all the time.
Yeah. I need to look into those things. The extra thing, yeah, there you go, Whitney. The things we've tried, it's 50-50. Some have been really good, some haven't. But I sell socks at Cool and Collected. It's an antique store here in Indian Village. And I sell socks there, and I also have an antique booth there. But I really don't have time to keep the inventory up over there. Todd, who owns that store, he's always saying you need to change your socks out. And I'm like, I know, but I don't have time, So I don't know, if I'm supposed to get a big bag of socks from Jilly's and go over to Cool and Collected and just trade them all out. And then Whitney gets mad at me because I'm screwing up inventory, because it says we have 7 of these in our store, but if I take 3 over to Cool and Collected. So it's really hard to manage that piece of it. And that's something I didn't really ever think about. I just thought, oh yeah, I can take some socks here and there. This is my newest favorite pair, and Kathy's Primitives is one of my favorite companies that we order from, and I've always believed in this, and I wear this on my heart. Talk faith, not fear, or put your faith over fear. And I am 60. Well, I'm something, and I'm going to get a tattoo on my foot about this saying, and I'm going to take my daughter-in-laws with me, and I'm going to go do that. And I've lived this long without a tattoo, but I'm going to go do it, and it's going to have this saying. So these are 3 of my favorite pairs, or that touch me. Do you have another one to show?
I was just going to show our website.
Do. That's great.
So this is what it looks like now. Hop your way into this Easter with Jilly's socks. We've got Easter basket fillers, and then some of our Easter items. We've got a Nebraska section, stuff for spring, and then World Softest, which is one of our brands that we just love. Everybody loves them. They're fluffy and really soft. So those, and then we have our online pickup in store, and then this new section I just added, and this one is fun because it has a language section. So we have all the dirty socks on one page, which I think is funny.
What do you have in men's socks?
Men's socks, we have.
No, but I mean, you have quite a bit in there.
Oh, yeah.
I've got some young grandsons that would just.
Here is
Yep.
Easter
our
birthday's coming up.
Yep.
section. So quite
That's-
a large selection.
yeah.
It's not all of them.
That's
So-
one of our men's walls
Yeah.
right there. So they're just the perfect gift. That's what has been so fun. People will come in and a woman that I don't even know, but I won't forget her face. She came into the store the first year. I think it was the first year. If not, it was just shortly after our first year anniversary. And she said, you need to market your socks as greeting cards. And we have our logo on the wall is let your socks do the talking. That's always been our mantra or whatever. And she said, you pay $9 for a greeting card and they just throw it away. She said, give them socks, and every time they put the socks on, they will think of you. And I thought, that's fabulous. Have I moved on that great suggestion? No. So we got to do that. But
we've done social media posts about it.
have we? Okay.
The line of cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
We have I like to draw on my iPad, and so I drew these little sock cartoons, kind of starting. Well, it started right before COVID, I think. And well, I'm not gonna be able to find them that quickly, but I guess I could go to our website. That would be good. But here's one of them. This one I made during quarantine. It says, "Dear friend, this whole social distancing thing sucks. Missing you a lot." But then I crossed out the O and made it look like the sock crossed it out.
Yeah.
So, but they're all sock related. They're Jilly's
They're darling.
cards, I think is what
They're darling.
we call them.
So
And
Whitney started her own line of cards, Jilly's Sons, and we split the commission.
Yes.
We split the sales.
yeah.
And we carry a few other lines of cards, but it's amazing. Because our shop is so crowded, we moved the tall little skinny card, carousel, thank you. We moved it to the back of the store by the kids section, and our card sales have plummeted because we moved it to the back. And before it was right by the counter. And so it's just amazing how quickly you can see that and figure that out. But that's one of the things that's hard to stay on top of. You can't change your shop around every month. It's hard. We have a display table right when you walk in that's in the center of the store, and that's kind of our feature table. So we always have holiday things on there. Or if it's not a holiday time, we'll do spring. Right now it's Easter and it's darling and there's so many things on there, but it's so funny how people walk right by it even though it's darling and it's right in front of you, and they'll walk over to the sock wall, so they don't necessarily see all the cute other things you do because they're so focused on the socks. But we need to get yours cards back up front.
So this one says socks on, razor gone. I thought that one was pretty funny.
She's so creative.
And this one's my favorite so far. I feel like this person is me. But it says she's a little sass and a whole lot of badass. So, and I don't know. I'll show one more. It died. But the other one I was going to show, it says getting old socks, and it's a birthday card. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of socks for every event, really. We have retirement socks, we have birthday socks, we have mom socks, dad socks, we have being pregnant socks, we have new mom socks. I mean, we think we have a sock for everybody and every occasion, but lo and behold, somebody will come in and say, "Do you have socks for?" And I just look at them, I'm like, "No, we don't, sorry." And we try to show them other things, but at least once a week somebody will come in with a request that I'd never even thought about, or the companies just simply don't make the sock that they're requesting. If we grow to a bigger space, we're going to do an athletic sock section. We do not carry athletic socks. I leave that to Shields. But if we do grow, that's something I want to do. Yes?
So are you part of David Morton's Save Lincoln Local Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that the one we joined? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll often ask, okay, does anyone know where Philip Morton is?
Yes.
Or you could just put out something looking for those plumber socks.
Yeah, right,
whatever.
right. Yes, we just joined him not too long ago. I have to be honest, I wouldn't have advertised in here, but the girl who is the editor of this magazine used to be one of my favorite former students, Hannah Hundley, and so she called Whitney and I and said, "Do you want to be in this magazine?" And of course you have to pay to support yourself in the magazine, but I did it for Hannah and for myself. And so this just came out, and she has a section in here of women-owned businesses in Lincoln, and I thought, well, sure, why not? And so we got featured in Women-Owned Businesses of Lincoln, and I'm kind of proud of that. And then you wrote this, didn't you, Whitney? Yeah. So I had Whitney write up a little thing, and it's just really cute. I'll pass it around. But we advertise in 2 local magazines. We advertise in Mary's magazine that's called Family Values, that is mailed to people's homes. It's a very nice one. I've been advertising with her for 5 years. And then Roger Yant's magazine called Shop Local, Shop Nebraska. I advertise in his. And then we occasionally do radio. It's so expensive. I just cringe to do that. But again, John has really encouraged me to do it. It's just hard to know if you're getting anything back from all the money you spend on radio. But we kind of started during the holiday time asking people, how'd you hear about us, So, any other questions? Word of mouth has really been the best. I mean, it just, after 5 years, you just know it's word of mouth. You can spend a lot of money on advertising, but word of mouth is free and it's the best. So.
What, so I asked this of everybody who speaks. So, we call this Perk Up Thursday. What keeps you perked up at Jilly's?
I never, ever have to be perked up about it. I love it. Like John will go off to work and sometimes he might not be really excited to go to work and I'll be like, I'm going to my little sock store. See you later. And that's what we call it, my little sock store. And I just love the people that I work with, and it's 2 miles from my home, and when you walk in, it's just so cute and bright and full, and the people are awesome. I think we've had 2 grumpy customers in 5 years. One was a grandpa who shamed me for having naughty socks in my store, and I get where he's coming from, but
We get that a little bit on our social media.
we get a few comments on social media, yeah, and I can't remember the other woman that was unhappy with me, but you take the good with the bad. You know, of thousands of customers that have come in, they're so complimentary, and it's so nice. And I remember hearing something when I was real young, and John used to be one of the owners of Grandmother's Restaurant, so I actually think it was you way back when we were really young, and you said nobody cares like you will care because it's your business. And that I didn't really understand what he meant back then, but I get it now. I get it. But they do all care as much as I do. So. But yeah, that's a great question. But I don't ever feel like I need to be perked up. Over Christmas time, I'm there 24/7, and I come home and I don't even want dinner. I just want a giant glass of wine and sit, you know. And we never sit down at Jilly's. We're on our feet all day long, and it's a cement store, so you do physically get a little bit tired. Yeah, so sometimes when I go home, I just want a giant glass of wine and I want to sit down. But when I'm there, it's awesome. One thing that has changed that is exciting for me is the first year, the second year we were open, I would really find myself kind of on a slow day, like today will be slow because it's windy, nobody wants to go outside. You can't ever second guess if you're going to be busy or not. The minute you think one thing, it's the opposite. You never know. A lot of businesses are closed on Monday because they think it's the worst day for retail. Some of our biggest days have been Mondays. I think women sit and make out their lists on the weekend about what they want to do on Monday, you know, and so sometimes Mondays are really busy. But, lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
Oh, we are, I know where you're
Where?
We just are always busy now. Like,
Oh, yes. When back in the day, I'd kind of be like, oh, there's no customers. What do? I don't know what to do. I can't order more socks because I don't have any more money. And now I can't stay caught up. And that's a wonderful feeling. I feel like I'm back in the classroom. I could never stay ahead of everything as a teacher. I taught 5 different classes in a day. And I feel like that. I just can't ever stay caught up. There's always a list this long of things we should be doing that I haven't gotten to yet, and that is a great feeling. So, anybody else? Thank you so much, you guys. I love doing this. It's fun. I feel like I'm back in the classroom. And thanks, Whitney. Thank you, John. Thank you for coming.
Paige and Restricted Business has a monthly Star City 6. If you want to continue to market yourself, if you're advertising that Whitney's being the Star City 6 person, and tell her story because that's also your story.
Okay, that's good. Paige, right?
Paige,
Yes,
she's cool.
I've met her a couple. I met her a couple times. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Have
We're just keeping the name out there.
a great day, you guys. I appreciate it very much.
I wound up